Go ahead and log into Moodle. We're at week 2, so we're in chapter 3 now. I'm going to do a quick lecture on the chapter. I'm going to show you the activities that we're going to learn in this chapter. So if you log on to Moodle, go ahead and download the chapter 3 lecture file that I created, and go ahead and open that in Word. So if you click on it, you can just click to open it and enable the editing. So it should look like this. And I'm going to use this document to show you the activities in this chapter that you're going to learn. It's on Moodle.
Oh, it's on Moodle.
Scroll down, this is chapter 3 lecture file. It's down there. Go ahead and enable the editing if you get the little orange bar across the top. This chapter is also on Microsoft Word. We're going to learn a few more features that Microsoft Word has. The first thing we're going to talk about is inserting a page break. If you scroll through the document, this is only a one-page document. So in Word, after you type past 8.5 by 11 regular sheet of paper, or any of the margins you've set up, it automatically breaks the page. But in some documents, you may want to break the page earlier, just depending upon the type of information that's in your file, in your Word document. So let's click right after the fax number, and just click there and place the insert point there. It begins blinking. And then if you click on the insert tab at the very top, you'll see over in the, this is the pages group, far right hand side, looks kind of strange, or far left hand side rather, pages, then you should see something that says page break. Your little group might look a little different. Yeah, it's in the pages group. So if you just click on Okay, good. Once you click on the page break, then does just that, gives you a little page break. Depending upon what view you're in will depend on what this page break looks like. So if we look, if we scroll back up, of course, everything before our cursor is on the first page, everything after the cursor winds up on the second page. Okay. This chapter also talks about headers and footers. There's a couple different ways to access the header and footer. I like to just scroll to the top or the bottom portion of the page and double click. So if you look, if you scroll all the way to the top by taking this bar all the way up, you notice it just looks like a little sheet of paper. That's the end of your page. That's also where the header is. In this case, we're going to modify the footer. So if we look, scroll this down, right before our page break, this is the footer section. So this one has a page number. I want this to be a type of letter, so I don't necessarily need a page number on there. So we're going to remove it. So notice how it's grayed out. That means the footer's not active. So just double click right there on the one. And then it should come up here. Number one is highlighted. You see that we're editing the footer. And then if you look at the very, very top, we get an extra tab there that says header and footer. Those are different options that we can add to our footer. And then all I want to do is just remove the page number. So click again to move the cursor to the right of the one, and just press backspace. You have to press backspace twice, and that removes the page number out of the footer. And then you can simply click anywhere here, or you can press the close footer button. Either way will take you back to your document. Now let's create a header in the left margin. So scroll all the way up to the top of your document and just double click in the blank space. Notice how there's all this white space here. Take the mouse all the way to the top, double click. Same thing happens to the footer. The header, it says we're in the header. And then you have header and footer section with all the options that you have. So let's just put lecture 2. And that'll keep that text in the document. And you format the header and footer just like you do with the alignment in the Word document. You can align it to the left and right and center. This would put this word in the left section of the header, or the left margin. If you wanted to move that, if you go to the Home tab, you can center it just like regular text, or you can right align it. For this case, we just wanted to remain in the left margin, so that's there. Then you can simply go back to design and click on close header footer, or double click down in the document. And notice that our text is grayed out, and we have that in our footer. Or header. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is adding tab stops. If you look on your keyboard, there's a key that's right above the caps lock. It's called tab. Go ahead and press it. If you press it, notice it just tabs over each inch. Does everybody have the tool? Can everybody see the ruler? Yes? If for some reason you don't have the ruler, maybe at home, click on the View tab at the very, very top. And then in the Show group right here, see the ruler? If you uncheck it, a lot of times, especially when you first install Word, it's not going to have the bar. It's going to look like this. So you want to add the ruler for this next step. So in the view, you just click on the box there. It says ruler. So notice when you're pressing tab, it just moves over ½ inch. Okay. In Word, you can adjust where your tab stops, where the cursor stops when you press the tab button, and they're called tab stops. So go ahead and click back on the home or press home button on the keyboard. Take your insert point all the way back to the left. If you hold your mouse all the way over to the far left-hand spot on the ruler, then you can see with the mouse over, that's a left tab stop. You can toggle that and choose different tab stops just by clicking on it. So go ahead and click and leave the mouse there. Click on it, you might have to move the mouse away and then hold it back. And then look and see what it says. There's a center tab stop, and it looks kind of like, it just reminds me of a little Tetris piece. Upside down T, possibly. Go ahead and click it again. Hold the mouse over it, and that's a right tab stop. Click it again, and then you have decimal tab stop. That will change where your decimal places actually land. Click it again. There's a bar tab. Then if you press it again, you actually get the indents. If you see the little arrows facing here in the blocks, these are your indentions on the rulers, how you can change your first and second line indent. We'll get into those a little later. Press it again, you get the bottom, which is your hanging indent. And then you're all the way back to the left tab stop. In this exercise, we're going to work with just the left and the right tab stops. Okay. So with that selected, over here, this is how you select which tab stop to use. So we are going to insert, let's put a left tab stop at the 3.4 inches on the mark on the ruler. So we have this selected as left, so go over to the 3.5, what do I want? 3.4 right here. Now the sensitive part with your mouse is the very, very tip of it. So make sure that tip is pointing to that part on the ruler and click. Once you click, see the little L there? I've got another one I don't want. So there, that puts the left tab stop on 3.5, 3.4. Now, press the tab key, and notice what happens when you press the tab key. I've got this. So notice once you press the tab key, see it jumps all the way over to that position. So if there's this portion in your document that you want to begin typing in certain sections, you can add the tab stop, and when the cursor's all the way over there, if you press tab, it jumps all the way over to that portion of the ruler. Let's add a right tab stop at the 5.5 inch mark. So go all the way over to the left corner and click it until you see one that says right tab. Then go over to the 5.5 inch mark and click. You have to kind of click at the bottom. Yeah, 5.5. Probably the trickiest part of this. Okay, good. Those left and right tab stops. Go ahead and press the tab key again and watch the cursor will then jump all the way over to the right marker. Okay. So that's how you can control the tab key within your document. Okay, let's scroll down to just below the fax number and press enter. And let's just type page, tap page, and then press the tab key. Type page, then we're going to make a left tab stop at the 3.5 mark. And then press tab and put page 5. This is one of the most common ways that you will use the tab stop if you were putting in an index of some sort with certain page numbers. The tabs have special features that you can use to speed up and make your document more legible. So there are several different options in your tabs. So go up to the ruler and double click on the left tab stop. There's several ways to access this window. That's the easiest one for me to remember, is just double click on that, on our tab stops, or double click somewhere on the ruler and you'll have this menu. Now if you notice, here's what it says in the box. We've got one tab stop at the 3.5 inch marker. And then the default is 5. It's set up as alignment to the left, and there's no leader. The leader is the marker between the last piece of text and your tab stop. So let's add a 3 leader to that. Press 3, then press OK. And then look what it does for you. It automatically puts in a marker in the white space to point to that number, something that's commonly used within the indexes. Any questions there? What you got there? Press just like the number 5. Just type it on. Now everybody can just double click on it. And then just click the I'm gonna show that too. Before I move on, let me put a couple more up here. If you accidentally add the tabs, if you double click on there, you'll see the list of them. Select the one that you don't want, and then go down here and press clear. And then it'll come off of the list. And of course, if you wanted to clear all of them, you just press clear on that for a second. Press enter right there and insert your page break so later you can the page break. There you go. Then it looks like that. Good. Ready. Okay. Go ahead. Press OK. Okay, next, all this activity also talks about a multi-level list. If you scroll down to the next page, we've got our products here, and we have some text here that's indented here. We want to make this look like a multi-level list by putting little bullets out here. Word has a special feature there that allows you to do so. So go ahead and select from towels all the way down to soap. We're just going to create our multi-level list with a diamond, arrow, and square. So if we go to the Home tab and hold the mouse inside the paragraph group, there's one that says multi-level list. Press the little drop-down arrow there, and then we're going to choose this list, which is the first column, second row. And that should give you some bullets and stars for the indents. And the further indents you go, it has a different symbol. So just go up here to multi-level list, and then choose this. And just go ahead and click on that. And that's how you make a multi-level list. Notice the text automatically has to be indented already in order to get the different symbols. So our first row symbol is this, second row is square, third is diamond. So it just shows different levels, and they have different symbols for each level. Now let's change the margins. Sometimes in the documents you want to adjust the page margins. If you look in the ruler, the gray area is the margin area. This is where your text will stop and start wrapping. If you're making certain documents or making something for a certain size paper, you're going to want to change these. So simply, if you go to the page layout tab, all the way at the far left says margins, way over here. If you press the down arrow, there's several different I want to say formats, but the different options to choose from. We want to make our bottom and top margins 1.5 inches. So if we look at these, the normal has a top of 1 inch and the left is 1 inch. This one has the left at 1 inch and the top at 1. We want both of them at 1.5, and I don't see that listed. So we need to click on custom margins and make our own. So click custom margins, and it starts off these tops. It's broken into sections. This is margin. We can change orientation in the pages. All I'm worried about right now are the margins. So if we look at the top margin, it's at 1. You could just simply type 1.5. Or you can use the little spin box and press up here and change it there as well. Whichever one you like. So make sure the top and the left margin are 1.5, and then press OK. And then just watch your ruler as you do it, and you should see it change. Once you click OK, notice that our ruler adjusts accordingly. Now our margin stops here. Now we're going to insert an image here. So press enter, probably have to press enter about 7 times to get back to, because if you notice after you press enter, it thinks that you're adding a new list item. So keep pressing enter until your cursor blinks to the far left. And then we're going to insert an image. So we're going to go to Google. So open up your web browser. Go to Google. Do so. And grab an image that you like. So I just typed soap, and then I clicked on the images section of Google, and it'll bring up related images based on my search. And just grab whatever soap image you like and save it to your desktop. Let's do this. You can just click on it, then right click and do save image. Click save image as, and put it right there on the desktop. And change the name to soap. That way you know what the image is. Just save it on the desktop. Or unless you have your flash, we'll just save it to the desktop. Save it to the desktop there. Name it soap, click save, and then close the window, or minimize it, and go back to our Word document. Then insert the image, simply go to insert, then in the illustrations group right there, click where it says pictures. Then click on the desktop, and you should have one that says soap. Click on that and click insert. That's how we add images to our document. So now notice that our height and width are pretty large for our document. I just want it nice and small. So notice, let's click, if we click right next to socks, notice it just shows the image in there and it blends in with our page. And go ahead and click on the image and notice you'll get a new toolbar. And it says format. In the size group has the height and width. We can adjust and make it smaller. Of course, you could always hold the mouse on any one of these resizing handles and shrink it down to a size. But if you wanted a specific size, you'd want to type it in here. So let's take it down to 1 inch by 1 inch. So you can highlight up here in the size group and type 1, or you can click here and minimize this way. So we want to do 1 inch by 1 inch. And our image should be nice and small right there. So that's how you adjust the height and width of your images. Especially if you want a specific size, you can just type it into those boxes. Now let's display the non-printing format markers. Who remembers how to do that? From chapter 1. It's just an odd name. Showing the paragraph markers, non-formatting markers. Go to the Home tab, and it's just this paragraph marker right there. In the paragraph group, click there. And it's going to show all the paragraph markers. Every time we've pressed enter, it has our tab spots as well. if we scroll up, notice we have our page break where we've added it. If we don't show the formatting markers, it doesn't show the object we need to delete to remove our page break. So I'm showing the formatting markers so we can remove the page break. So go ahead and click right here next to the page break and just press backspace. And that'll remove our page break that we had. Okay. The next thing I want to do is create a footnote. Let's go ahead and take off the formatting markers, so press that so that way they're not in the way. And we're going to add a footnote to this document, just with some information about it. So click, it doesn't really matter where you click. I'm going to put right next to the soap, and then we're going to have a little bit more information about the soap. So if we go to the References tab, here's your footnote. There's two different things. There's an endnote and a footnote. Don't get those confused. The footnote itself has an object here, and then it shows at the very bottom whatever information we need. So press the Insert Footnote, and we're just going to type clean soap. I just said clean soap. You just put some kind of description about your soap. As soon as you do that, notice once you click, you get the little subscript here for number 1. We only have 1. We just created our first footnote. And then you can type whatever information in the footnote that you need. If you scroll up to our document and we look next to soap, there's a little subscript for the number 1. That means that there's more information about this soap in the footnote, and we can scroll down to that number and find it. So go ahead and click next to the soap. If you hold the mouse over that number, it'll actually give you what the footnote is without you having to move and scroll down to the page. Good. Two more things, or there's two more, we'll create one more document. Let's, a lot of times you're going to want to remove the spacing before and after paragraphs. So let's, and then you also want to double space them as well. So let's highlight to whom it may concern. And if we wanted to remove the spacing before and after the paragraphs and add a double space, we need to format the paragraph. So go to the Home tab. In the paragraph group, go ahead and click that little square with the arrow down. That's a dialog box launcher. So that's the paragraph dialog box launcher. Go ahead and click there. And you have several options. There's a general alignment of your page, left to right. Here's the section for indentation, if you wanted to put special indentation. And here's the spacing. So we want to make sure there's no spacing before and no spacing after. And we want a 1.5 spacing in our paragraph. So make sure before and after is 0. And we're going to change this to 1.5, which is the average double spacing. And then push this check box here that says don't add space between paragraphs. So not only did we tell it before and after 0, we also said not to add any spacing between paragraphs. So that makes sure that you've removed all of your spacing before and after the paragraphs. Press OK there, and we get a nice double space. All right, questions on that? All right, go ahead and save that. We're gonna make, we got 2 more things to do. One, we're going to make a page of labels. So we're going to use this address here, and we're going to make a page of labels as a new page. So just highlight from sales all the way down to the zip code. Just select that entire thing here. And then if we go to the mailings tab at the very top, we can create labels based on that address. So if we go over, once we click the mailings, there's a create group in the far left. Click where it says labels. And you have this option. We want a full page of the same label. And then you also have the option to change your templates. How many of you have ever printed labels on a printer before? You've never bought any little sticky labels from printers? It's not very common too much anymore. You buy the little package, and depending upon the company, you'll have Avery or L1 is one, Microsoft has a few. Depending upon the company will depend on the size of your labels and where they're located on the page. So we want a full page of labels, but we want to make sure it prints based on the sticky labels that we purchased at the store. So in order to do that, we need to go into options. And the particular labels that we've purchased are the Avery labels. So the first thing you want to do is find your name in the label vendors, find Avery in that list. And notice there's 3 different ones. We're using the Avery US letter. Once you click on that, notice that your product numbers change. We're looking for number 18160. So scroll down. Fast way to do it is to go ahead and start typing 181. Once you click somewhere in this box and just start typing. Do 181, and we're looking for 18160 address labels. And then it gives us our height and width and our page size. And that's the size of the labels that we'll create. You'll know what code that is based on the labels you purchase. Before you click OK. Then we need to tell it we want it in a new document. So go ahead and press that button there, and then we get a nice page of labels with that same address. Okay, questions on creating labels? Highlight the address, start the wizard. Okay, last thing we're going to do is create a fact sheet from a template. Something very similar to what we did in chapter 1. So we're going to open a facts template. So in order to do that, you have to go to File, and then you have to click on New, and then the first screen comes up. These are what your templates are. We're going to search for a template. So click in this box right up here that says Search for Online Templates. Template is called Facts Equity Theme. FAXEQUITYTHEME. Once you do that, press Enter. Then you have 3 different options. We want the facts, so not the mail merge facts, and not the facts cover sheet, just the regular facts. So this is the one that we want. So click there. And just press on create. And if we remember from chapter 1, when we start using these templates, there's little placeholders which have information in brackets, and those are what you click on to change to fill out your template. So let's go ahead and change the 2. Click once on recipient name, the entire block highlights. Just start typing. Type your name in there. The from will pull your name from the Microsoft Word application. I'll show you. Put your fax number, 555 555 555. It's going to be 2 pages. That's the page of that document we just created. Put 2. Type another phone number, 843. It doesn't matter what number you put in there. Notice the date section. It's pre-formatted with the date. It says pick the date. So notice once you click on that, you get the little down arrow that gives you the calendar. So go ahead and choose the date from there. Reply as subject line. Now we don't have a CCC. Okay. That's how you would fill out a fax template. Okay, any questions there? Okay. That is chapter 3. That's everything that you need to know for that chapter. Yes?
What does that say next to apply?
Next to you talking about this?
Yeah.
It just says type text. I didn't type anything
No,
there.
next to
Oh, I put items dot ITMSDOC. You can save those. These will be for your to reference back when you're working in the activity. So if we go back to Moodle, this week you have the 2 graded assignments and your skills exam. Remember, you can take these over and over as many times as you want to until the due date. They are due Monday, the 19th. Is that right? I'm sorry. They're due Monday the 25th. They open today, I'm sorry. Due Monday the 25th. Just these 3 assignments there. If you get stuck with an assignment, if you can't perform one of the tasks, then you can go to Snap, which I don't think I have open. If you have trouble, go to Snap, find it. Let's say I had trouble adding headers or footers. You can watch the tutorial there. I'll show you how to do it and go back and complete the assignment. Any questions on chapter assignments, Steve? Okay. Give you the rest of the class time to begin your assignments.